Let's talk about how to fix some laggy nonsense. There have been a bunch of comments lately inquiring about how to stop Tridents from falling through things, and how to stop you, the player, from falling through things, especially when you're exiting a nether portal. And these two problems are actually one and the same. The same reason that Tridents fall through blocks is the same reason why you, the player, occasionally falls through blocks when loading an area. But luckily, there are a few things that we can do to mitigate these negative effects. So hopefully, with these solutions, we can prevent us from stepping out of our portal and just dropping straight into lava. But first, let's talk about why this happens. So, the order that the game loads things in is actually where the problem lies. The game loads entities first. So Tridents, players, Grindstones, it loads all of the mobs and entities before it loads everything else. But then it loads the original chunk states. How the chunks were before you did anything to them, before you placed or destroyed a single block. Then, after it loads the original chunk states, it then updates them with all of the changes that you have made. So as an example, if you built a portal floating above a lava lake, when you exit that portal, first the game loads you, then it loads the lava lake, and then finally it loads the bridge that you made to keep you from falling into the lava lake. So if there's a lag spike that causes a delay between it loading you and the updates that you've made to the chunks, well, there's nothing underneath you, so you just fall. One of the biggest influencing factors in this is your render distance. The higher you set your render distance, the more time it takes for the game to load the original chunk states versus what you have done to change them. And if you increase that gap, it increases the odds of you or Tridents falling through when that area is loaded. So not only is it negatively impacting your own gameplay, but also, if you set your render distance really high, you're lagging out all of the other players in the world. You can always tell when someone has their render distance set too high, because as soon as they log in, regardless of what they're doing, everybody starts dropping frames and everybody lags. So, especially on multiplayer, never set your render distance above 16 to 20. Just always keep it below 20. Not only does this help mitigate world lag and the lag experienced by other players, but it'll also help prevent Tridents and you from falling through things. Because the smaller your render distance, the shorter the time it takes the game to fully load all objects from entities to the final changes. And really, how many times do you actually need a high render distance? If you're caving or mining, you don't need a render distance higher than 2. Or if you're AFK, you don't need any render distance at all. So just always be aware of how many people are online, the lag of the world, and how you're affecting the other player's experience. Never set your render distance above 16 to 20. I've played on a bunch of laggy realms and servers, and I could always tell who had their render distance set really high. Not only because it lagged when they logged in, but also because they would constantly complain about them falling through portals or about their Tridents falling through. Whereas I play on a really low render distance, and I've never fallen through blocks, and I rarely have Tridents fall through killers unless I accidentally leave them turned on. Just be aware that your render distance doesn't only affect you. It is not just client side. It affects the server as a whole and other players as well. But if turning down your render distance doesn't do the trick, try to reduce the amount of lag in the area around the farm or around the portal. So especially things like entities. Armor stands, minecarts, mobs. Entities are crazy laggy, especially armor stands on Bedrock. Lighting updates is another really big one. If you have flashing lamps or redstone torches that are flickering, always spam light around your redstone just to prevent light updates. Light update lag is insane. And so you could always hide your light sources. You know, if you have lamps turning on and off, well, just bury some torches near those lamps, and you still have the cool effect of the lamps turning on and off without the light updates. Or if you have free-flowing items, you know, like water streams or a disposal system that doesn't actually get rid of the items, just try to prevent free-floating items. Or infinite clocks. You should never build infinite clocks anyway. Everything should always have a trigger or an off switch. Or maybe you have a sand duper that uses the drip leaves. These are insanely laggy. You know, maybe build these away from your portals if you desperately want them anyway. All in all, if you're consecutively experiencing problems in an area, just try to reduce the lag in that area. Reducing lag not only fixes problems, but makes it more pleasant. Now, if worse comes to worse, and if turning down your render distance and fixing lag in the area still is not working, you can use Grindstones as like a band-aid. Grindstones will load at the same time as you or Tridents will, so you can place Grindstones like under your portal or under your Trident killers, and it will catch you or the Tridents if they fall through. It's not it's not really a fix, but it works. I mean, it'll prevent you from falling to your death. And like we just mentioned, it works the same for Tridents. So if Tridents are falling through blocks consecutively at a farm, you can place some Grindstones to at least catch those Tridents. Now, some style of Trident killers, you can put the Grindstones directly under the Trident itself. Mainly like trapdoor Trident killers, like this one right here. You can place an upside down Grindstone stuck to the bottom of the trapdoor, and this will actually prevent it, generally, from ever breaking. I really don't like these trapdoor killers, and I only use them when I have to, because of how unstable they are. Like, sometimes they just break for no reason. But at least with a Grindstone, it makes it a little more stable. Now, not all Trident killers are compatible with Grindstones. You can't always just put a Grindstone directly under the Trident. So, depending on the design of Trident killer that you're using, you could still just place Grindstones farther underneath it to at least catch the Tridents if they fall through. But all in all, always remember to turn off your Trident killers before you leave the area. That will help dramatically. Now, just because we can use Grindstones as an emergency solution doesn't mean that that should be the first thing that we do. Grindstones are still entities. You should always first try and reduce the amount of lag in that area, and above all, lower your render distance. Because not only is it causing you problems, but it's causing everyone else on the server problems. Like, I can always tell when someone has their render distance set really high because everyone lags as soon as that person joins, no matter what that person is doing. And so it gets to the point where we all just start avoiding that person. As soon as they log on, 5 people log off. Because we're just like, no, like the game's unplayable just because this one person wants to see really far. And that's sad. That's like the opposite of what multiplayer should be. Multiplayer is this awesome thing where we can all come together as a group and have fun playing this game that we share and enjoy. So always, 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 just remember to turn down your render distance. Lag is just no fun regardless of where it's coming from, especially if that lag is causing you to have to reset your Tridents constantly, or even worse, causing you to fall down through your portal into lava. Like, there's nothing worse than that. So I really hope that this video helped you solve some of these issues and will keep you safe from here on out. But that's all we got for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, share, and subscribe. Be sure to leave a comment, even if it's just to say hi. I would love to hear from you. Always remember that you are totally awesome. But above all, don't forget to have fun. Bye-bye.